Hello and welcome to a video of Axel, me trying to do something. I have lately been very inspired by YouTubers like TL Yarncrafts, Holy Anna, Crochet Vision, especially Crochet Vision, because I resonate with her vibe, mostly because she's also very open about being neurodivergent, like ADHD. I am autistic myself, and I feel like she is, especially the person behind Crochet Vision, is so authentic, and she even has made a video of her reacting to, for example, hate or like a day in her life. She has her own crochet business. I know she makes a lot of amigurumis slash plushies. She uses like blanket yarns from Bernat, I think. Um, I have lately been crocheting myself a lot with very thin thread, and I make this filet crochet, which kind of I kind of make this border and a motif in it, and I want to show you who unfortunately are watching this video how I do things. I don't expect anything of what I make to be perfectly straight edges because it's handmade. It's not always perfect. It's just made with a lot of time, sweat, trial and error, and more trying. I did back in late December, early January of this year, one night Google pixel art images because I was so inspired to make patterns, make something that will work. And I actually ended up finding a lot of pixel art, and one of the motifs I found I really liked, and it made me think of a dear friend named Dakota. And I am in the middle of making something with that picture or pattern for them. I'm making these kinds of pictures because my work has this frame and a buffer between the pattern itself and the, the, the frame. So I thought to myself, when I was unsure a few weeks ago what to do with 6 small skeins slash yarn balls with color changing thread, what to do. And I also showed my friend Dakota the picture I am using as a pattern now, because it reminded me of them, and they immediately loved it. It's really simple and they wanted something with it. So I said, why the heck not? And I began. And at first, I made this kind of not so easy to see, but rainbow gecko. And on top of that, I made one in the different color scheme or different yarn thingy. So these two are pointing towards the middle. The pattern itself is like this. I work from right to left, and I work from bottom to top. You can also work this way from that bottom to top, or otherwise, or like that. I have made it so that each square is made up of 3 double crochets. The only 2 stitches I use after a foundation row, chainless foundation row I think it's called, is double crochet and single crochet. Nothing else. So each of these squares are 3. So I make 3 for the first one there, then add 3 for one more. In total, the pattern itself from there to here, it's 22 squares. So that means it's 66, because 22 times 3. So 66 stitches from the furthest point here to the furthest point on this side. And then you have to add 3 more on each side because of the buffer. And then 3 more again. So you have 22 plus 2, like you have 3 and then 3, 22, 3 plus 3. So that equals 80. I have 80 stitches in total. And those single stitches kind of look like they're 4, but they are in fact 3, because the 4th one, when you count, is the end of the last one. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. See what I mean? I will post videos of how I start the foundation chain and how I'm working. However, I will not show a complete tutorial of how I make each and every single stitch. I will, however, make videos of how to do the foundation row, how to start the double crochet at the end, the very start of the row, to avoid those open holes because of how thin and flimsy it can look, so that it will look more unified all the way around. And also how I go back, because usually when you do filet crochet, you go this way and then immediately start on the next row. See what I mean? I don't do that. And the single reason why I don't do that is because the double crochets that makes up the filled in squares get jagged because they're not facing the same way. So if you go from right to left first, it will slightly point that way. Ever so slightly go sideways. If you go back a row with just single crochets, the next row will also face the same way. That way it'll look more unison in the pattern itself. I learned how to do the chainless foundation row from a short video from TL Yarn Crafts, I believe. It's been really helpful. I used it every time I crochet now. I have never gone back. It's really easy and it looks very nice. As you can see here, you can basically not see any holes at all from the first one until the end of the border. As you can see here, nothing. That's why I do it. Plus it's easier to count when I have these clear. And you can also see that the single crochets done in between on the chain 2 space are around the chain 2s. They're around inside the double crochet top, then around, inside, around, inside, around, inside, around, inside, around, and then the 4 ending double crochets. You go back and forth that way. That's how I do it. I don't say you have to. It takes a little more time, but personally, it's worth it. I hope this little video has been informative and not horrible. I want to try make it so that I can post more videos often. I'm getting a better web camera so that I can actually make more videos and use my computer instead of my phone, because it's difficult to do things on my phone. I will also, when the time comes, make a video of how I change yarn. For example, if you see here, you can see that the 2 different kind of yarn skeins, whatever you want to call it, are changed, but you can barely see how and or what I did. It requires you to have a needle that you can hide the loose ends and then work around as you make the chains. But it's also easier to hide it and have less to sew in, because you just need to get them from, for example here, if that's the case, sticking out of a chain like this. Then you can just work around it and hide it in between as you work. I will show you in time.